Celebrity Apex promises innovation, luxury, and a transatlantic crossing that sounds like the deal of a lifetime. But is it really? After 13 nights at sea, 2 canceled ports, 3 actual ports, and 10 sea days aboard one of the most talked about ships on the ocean, and by the end of this video, you'll know. Is a transatlantic cruise on the Apex the hidden gem everyone says it is, or just overhyped?
Hey, this is Mark,
And I'm Monica.
and we've been continuously traveling the world for over 2 years, providing travel deals, tips, and our experiences to you in this channel. We started our sail in March of 2025, a little bit earlier than we would typically take a transatlantic. The Celebrity Apex was on its way to dry dock, so that's the reason why they left Florida a little bit early. And right now, as we speak, it's actually in dry dock, getting some work done. It's part of the Edge class, which is an amazing series of ships from Celebrity. What's in that series?
You start with the Edge, of course, and then Apex was second, Beyond was third, Ascent was fourth, and now you have this year coming up, the XL.
This was our second time on Apex. We have a sailing coming up on Beyond in the summer. And then I think we have XL booked.
Next fall.
This ship is about 130,000 tons. It's really a nice size. It's not too large, certainly not a small ship experience. Max capacity, just under 3,000 passengers. We sailed with about 2,700, about 1,300 crew members and 16 decks and a lot to do. There were some kids on the ship. On a transatlantic, you won't find typically a lot of kids, but this is not the type of ship to have water slides or rides or anything of that nature. Definitely appeals more to an adult contemporary vibe.
So we started in Fort Lauderdale, and our first stop was Bermuda. And we got there just ahead of some weather, so we didn't have any rain. It was a perfect day. And then after that, we were supposed to go to the Azores, pretty much in the middle of the Atlantic. But we were trying to outrun a weather system and had to miss our port in the Azores. But we continued to Gibraltar instead. The next stop was Mallorca, which replaced Valencia in the original itinerary. We had another change. We went to Mallorca instead, which is always amazing. And then we ended up in Barcelona, our original destination.
So we did miss 2 ports that we originally thought we were going to hit. Valencia, we were really looking forward to, but of course we know last year they had those terrible storms and some damage. So it was a shame to miss it, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be on our itineraries in the future. So first impressions, super positive. The ship's been out since 2020. So, about at this point, close to 5 years, but you wouldn't notice it. It was kept pretty much immaculate. If you told me it was a brand new ship, I probably would have believed it. But that was impressive. Lots of great food options. So you've got one nice thing that Celebrity does on these ships. You have 4 dining rooms for main dining, which is cool. Typically on a lot of ships, all 4 are the same. Not on Celebrity. Each of the dining rooms has similar menu, but then also specialized meals to each of those dining rooms. And then even a special typically each night. And there was one that was Italian based, one that was Greek based, one that was contemporary.
And French.
Yeah, we were in Aqua class, which we're going to talk about whether we thought it was worth the splurge because it is more money. And there are some nice benefits to Aqua class, but I think we'll get there as we go. And then they had this really nice ocean view cafe. What did you think about the buffet?
Yeah, and Mark said we had been on the Apex before, and I feel like they really raised their game across the board and all the food that we had, especially in the ocean view. That place was amazing. And there was always a vast array of choice. But we had one day like an Italian focus, and they had this huge, what was normally all the treats and things. It was like antipasto. It's just a huge spread of cheeses, meats, and vegetables. So there was always a big choice over what you normally see there.
They also themed things up pretty nicely. Each day you'd have a different theme. There was a lot of same stuff that were rotated, of course, but it was nice to have your favorites. Each day I went to certain things. Even though the ship was very busy, we did have some issues with weather. A storm was chasing us and it was pretty much on us most of the journey. It was pretty cloudy most of the time. Several days you really couldn't go outside. This was a little unusual for a crossing in this direction, but I think it's because we went a little bit early in the season. I think if we would have waited till late March or into April, the odds are much higher that we would have had good weather. But for that reason, the things like Ocean View were pretty packed, a bit more than normal, but we never had a problem getting a table. If you're part of Aqua class, which if you're not familiar with Celebrity, a lot of their ships have something called Aqua class. It sits right between regular cabins, balconies, etc., and suites. There is a suite class on Apex. It's called the Retreat. We've done Retreat once. It may have been on Apex, actually. Very nice, but really expensive these days. They've really jacked up the prices on the Retreat. Go for it if you want, but you're going to pay triple of what you, maybe quadruple of what you would pay for a balcony cabin. That's why we did Aqua class, because we're like, we're not paying triple or quadruple. We're probably just paid maybe not even 25 to 40% more. It wasn't that much more. We get a dedicated restaurant in blue We get some upgrades in our room, some little amenities, thermal spa access, allegedly access to free gym classes, but we got on the ship in one of the later boarding times. All the gym classes were full. It was frustrating because
For a 2-week cruise.
it's a little annoying that
Yeah.
you can't actually use your perk. But anyway, just be aware that it's possible on a busy cruise. Get up to the gym, reserve your classes. That's my recommendation. Blue is really good as a restaurant. It's nice to have your own dedicated restaurant. You'll know the waiters, the host, etc. My only critique of Blue this time is, like Monica mentioned, the main dining rooms. We would eat dinner with other people in the main dining rooms who weren't part of Blue. It was as good, maybe better in some of the meals. I don't know if Blue just wasn't as good this time and the main dinings were a lot better, or it's just the main dining was just a lot better and it's just matched the Blue restaurant experience. I don't know if I would do Aqua
Yeah.
class on a shorter sailing, like 7 days, the next time that we have the choice, because if we do a few specialty dinings, 1 or 2 main dining rooms, are you getting enough value for Blue and not getting a gym class and maybe forgetting to use thermal spots? So you got to think about it. But look, if you want that kind of in between, you don't want to spend the crazy money for the retreat, I still think it's something you should try. Specialty dining, these are the ones we did. What'd you think overall?
Overall, very good. Sushi is always appropriate. We did that a couple of times in the Raw on 5 sushi restaurant.
We did that for lunch twice. The pricing's reasonable, especially if you're used to a sushi restaurant in the US. You'll spend about half of what you typically would spend.
And Eden was extraordinary. It's a little different than it started out as in its initial incarnation. It was totally different early on with the show. They had like performers that would come in, and they would come and do acrobatics and just have something going while you're having your dinner. Now it's more just a fine dining restaurant, but it was really good.
It's a tasting menu, which is really awesome. I think you can also do a la carte, but most people do 7 or 8 course. And it was a pretty amazing meal. I got to say, one of the best meals I think I've had on a ship. So highly recommend. It's not inexpensive. Maybe it was like 50, 60 bucks, maybe 50 bucks a person. Look for some sales after you book. They will send you a lot of emails. Wait for a 10% off, 20% off. I would do it. We knew several other people did it. It's a fantastic meal. We then did Le Petit Chef, which is a lot of fun. They animate your plate, your table, and the animated chef cooks your meal, so to speak, and then they bring it out, place it on your table after each course. Very good meal overall. It wasn't my favorite menu. You have one main menu to choose from that's animated, and then you have a backup menu, which you don't get the animation, still fun to watch it. The quality of the food was actually really good. It's just a fun experience. Entertainment was awesome on the ship. No surprise, owned by this Royal Caribbean group. They do entertainment better than anybody, I think. And it's definitely brought to celebrity. They have some pretty incredible production shows. They've got some really nice additional entertainers if you like singers, songwriters, comedians. So there's a good mix of that, but their production shows were amazing. The talent of the performers, top notch. Great special effects, incredible staging, really nice. One bit of advice, you got to show up early. That was a little frustrating because I didn't remember this last time. People were showing up for these shows early. So we had to get there. If we got there 10, 15 minutes before, every good seat was taken. There were seats like that you could find. The other annoying thing a little bit, and I get it, is they block off seats for the retreat for the suites. They're paying a lot of money. But then there's another program that Celebrity sells where you pay extra money. And one of the perks is that they reserve seats for you. This whole section on the right was blocked off that seemed empty to me a lot. So just be aware, show up a little early.
And that was in the main theater.
2 shows a night, typically. So 20 minutes early, I think, would be smart.
In other venues like Eden, there was a one-time performance we really wanted to do. We got there
30 minutes early.
It's a very small place relative to the theater.
The space
Relative
is
to-
big, but there's not a lot of seats.
Relative to the number of people on board.
The drink game was really good. We had the classic beverage package, which we recommend on Celebrity. Get the all-in package. It's Wi-Fi, basic Wi-Fi, and classic drink package. Drinks up to $10. That covers most beers, covers a fair amount of cocktails, a decent number of wines. You're not going to have a huge wine choice at $10 or less, but every restaurant, every bar that we went to would always have a red and a white at $10. Now, if you went over, one thing I did is, let's say it was $12, they charge you $2 basically on the overage. So that wasn't so bad. You can always upgrade your internet as well from the standard to streaming. You do have to pay more, but you're part of the way there if you get the all-in package.
This is a beautiful assortment of pastries in the Ocean View Cafe. They really raised their game on the breads and pastries, even more than normal. This was not unusual to find every day.
They're pretty awesome. It was picture worthy, as you can see. Wi-Fi is really important for us. We do work while we're going. We work as we go. As you can see with the laptop, we're always spend a decent amount of our sea days doing that. But we did upgrade to the streaming package. The main difference is you can stream. So if you want YouTube or Netflix, you upgrade to the streaming package. I don't think the speed is any different other than they don't block the streaming channels. Be aware if you use a VPN, they tend to block virtually all VPNs. This is a Royal Caribbean thing. I find it annoying because we're on other ships that don't care if you're using a VPN. And I think they do because maybe some people have figured out a way to cheat and get more than one device if they use a VPN. But come on, Royal. Come on, Celebrity. Who cares? Is it that important? One or two people on the ship crack the code on a VPN? I don't think so. Internet was really good. It was up virtually 98% of the time, which is a rarity. We didn't really have any pockets where it wasn't. And I thought the speed was pretty darn adequate. Upload speeds are not great if you're uploading a video or something, but for everyday use and getting to everything, I thought the consistency was impressive. It's Starlink in this case. They capped the speed. If they uncap Starlink, it'd be way faster, but they don't because obviously they're paying by the bandwidth that people are using, but it's fast enough. Aqua class, you see a picture here of the cabin. It was a really nice cabin. We did have the infinite veranda. It's a love-hate for people. Some people hate it because it's not a traditional balcony. You can't step out onto the balcony. You basically have a balcony in your room. It extends your room size, which I like. You lower it down with a switch and half the floor to ceiling window comes down, get that fresh air. The good news on Apex is you can choose regular classic balconies if you want. They tend to book up a little bit quicker. So if you're looking to book and you want classic balcony, maybe do that. I enjoy the infinite veranda. I think we're happy with it. But I get it. If you're down in the Caribbean, it's 95 degrees out. You want to be on your balcony, but you want your air conditioning on in your room. If you lower that window, it does shut off the AC and it will warm up your entire room. So I get the pros and cons. We had an amazing room attendant. He was awesome. We got twice a day service, which on bigger ships is not always the case. So we would get a turn down. We'd get a service in the morning, which was really nice.
A lot of storage.
We probably didn't use half of it. We travel light, but even if you travel with extra suitcases, you'd have plenty of places to put everything. There was a little bit of minor wear and tear, but not much. Considering the ship was going to dry dock, I would say 90% of brand new. We've been on some other old ships of this age or older, and you can see more wear and tear. It was very minimal overall. Bermuda, we did a pretty cool tour.
Because we'd never been, so we did like a day tour that took us all over the island.
Yeah, it
The
was
St.
awesome.
George's, Hamilton, the capital, and King's Wharf. We saw some beautiful beaches, colorful houses and buildings, and it was a really nice time.
We put it on Viator. We'll put a link down below if you're interested. It's really the perfect tour if you haven't been to Bermuda before. The guy was awesome. Hopefully the guide you get will be just as good. Gibraltar, we did this last time, but you can do cool things in Gibraltar if you're into history or views. We mostly just walked around because we had done all this before, but highly recommend that you go up onto the rock, go through the World War II tunnels, see the view, and then afterwards you can come down to the main street where there's plenty of shops and some restaurants. You can take a cable car up to, or a private tour or a group tour. We recommend that for sure if you've never been to Gibraltar.
The monkeys are fun to see, but
They're aggressive.
you don't want to interact with them. Just enjoy them from a distance.
Mallorca, we always love. It's just a nice, you take about a 10, 15-minute bus ride that's provided by the port. We paid 15 euros round trip each person. Just be aware that there was a charge. And then they drop you off right near this cathedral here, which is incredible. We talked about the find of our lives, which was these incredible life-changing cinnamon rolls. They were fika, farina. Go there, please. Get the cinnamon roll. You'll love it. They've got other stuff too. So good.
There's a lot of shopping there. It's a fun place to walk around. It's all, and once you get near the cathedral, there's a lot of ways you can go, but it's all right there, which is nice.
I don't think you need to do a tour. There's plenty to do walking around in the streets, the shopping, the food's really good.
Once we did a hike there, and it was a really great hike. Once you get out of the town, there's a lot of good things to do tour-wise.
Crew, awesome, especially for a larger ship. We were on the Vista Oceania a few weeks before. That was, 1,200 people versus 2,700. Yeah, on a smaller ship, even though that's not tiny, it's a bit more personalized. I wouldn't say the service was as personalized on Celebrity, but everybody was really nice. Everybody was really friendly. We probably didn't get to know crew as much as we normally do on an Azamara or Oceania ship, but for a bigger ship, I thought everybody was friendly. They do an amazing job. All right, let's talk about cost. What did this cost us? It was still a really great deal overall. Let's face it, transatlantics are one of the bargains in cruising. If you're thinking about doing a transatlantic or any other cruise, we'll put a link in the description below. We can personally help you with your booking. We can give you a free quote. We can a lot of times add on additional amenities, perks, onboard credit. So give us a shot at that free service. We got a link down below. We'll personally work on your potential booking or give you ideas. We paid $6,000 for 2 people. For each of us, it was about $234 per night. Over 13 nights overall, about 425-ish. The 234 was with everything. We had a $400 onboard credit. If we would have done a balcony cabin, it probably would have been about $4,000 to $4,500. So quite a bit less. We would have been well under $200 per night per person, probably $300 and change for both of us per night. And don't forget, we did Aqua class. We had a specialty restaurant in Blue that was free to us every night if we wanted. We had a classic beverage package. We had Wi-Fi. We upgraded to streaming. This included a drinks package. We had the $400 onboard credit. We spent extra money on the sushi lunches, the eat-in dinner, the Le Petit dinner, and really that's about it. So still pretty darn great, especially because we had the all-in package. It was really almost all-inclusive, except for those couple specialty restaurants overall. So a great value. You can spend more than this if you're in the retreat. You can spend less if you're in balcony. Book early. That's why we got these kind of prices. I wanted to share some upcoming amazing deals just to show you there are great prices available on transatlantics coming up. This is things that are later in 2025 that'll be coming back from Europe typically. And then 2026, you've got some here. You can pause the video. You can always take a screenshot, take a photo of this. These prices are for balcony cabins for 2 people, starting from, so look, you might pay more because the prices could have gone up by the time you see this video. And maybe you want midship or a different deck level, but it's awesome to know for 2 people what's possible here. I've got quite a few listed on Celebrity. I focused on Celebrity from the Eclipse, the Constellation, even the Apex, the ship that we were on, $308 a day, London to Orlando, October 2026. New ships like the Ascent, you can do under $400 per day for 2 people in a balcony. If you want to do inside or ocean view, it's even cheaper than what you're on the screen. And do the brand new ship, right? Book this in 2026. Get on the Excel, get on the brand new Celebrity ship. Still just around $400 for a balcony, probably inside and ocean views, $300 for 2 people. So again, the link is down below. If you want us to give you a specific quote on any of these, we're happy to. Let's finish up here with our ratings overall. The ship, we gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Crew, 5 out of 5. They were awesome.
Value, 4.5 out of 5. And cabin, 4 out of 5.
Internet, 4 out of 5. I didn't give it a 5 out of 5 only because the speed could be faster. Let's raise the speed up a little bit on these sailings. You can do it, Celebrity. At least it was very reliable. 4 out of 5. Yeah, you can quibble about a few things here and there, but really good. The only reason I said 4 out of 5, not 5 out of 5 is it's not always 5-star. It's 4-star dining with a few flare-ups to 5-star, but really good. I can't see anybody not being pretty happy with the food. Excursions, we didn't really do any with the ship, but we enjoyed what we did, so we gave it a 4 out of 5. We would absolutely sail. I think you can understand that from the review. There's a couple little things we mentioned, but yeah, absolutely would do it again. If the Apex has a great price, great itinerary, put me on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll take any of the Edge class any day.
It is our favorite version right now of Celebrity. We really do love them. Yeah, so with that, we hope to see you out there. Maybe we'll see you on a ship.
See you out there.